Hey, hey, hey! Walking the Floor is made possible with support from Fender Play. Have you or someone you know been looking to learn how to play guitar? Well, my friends over at Fender recently introduced Fender Play, the complete learning platform from the most trusted name in guitar. And it really is the quickest and easiest way to learn. With on-demand guitar lessons through a video-based platform designed to help you play your favorite songs and learn key skills in minutes. For your free trial of Fender Play, please visit fender.com/walkingthefloor. Get on it!
This is Amanda Goddamn Shires, and you're listening to Walking the Floor.
That is so much better than the liner you did last time.
Welcome to the shit show.
I'm walking the floor over you.
Walking the floor.
I'm walking the floor. Walking the floor over you.
Hola, senors and senoritas! This is Chris Shiflett, and you are listening to another fine edition of your favorite podcast, Walking the Floor. I'm coming to you from my hotel room in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I gotta tell you, I've been here for a couple of days, and I'd say Milwaukee, Wisconsin is on the upswing right now. It's happening. This is my new favorite American city. I don't remember it being quite this cool with all the hipster shops and cool little neighborhoods and lofty spaces and all that stuff back in the No Use for a Name days when I first ever came here. I sort of always thought of Milwaukee. I don't want to offend anybody, but I sort of always thought of it as sort of a bit of a wasteland downtown. But there's a lot going on. In fact, I played last night at this bitchin' little room called The Back Room at Collectivo Coffee. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and the locals are going to make fun of me, but whatever. It was a great show. I played with Chris from Field Report. He was awesome. Everybody, the whole staff, the promoter, everything about it was great. The room sounded great, and I had a really, really good time. And there's I got a couple more solo gigs coming up this week up in Canada. Going to be playing Edmonton on October 21st and then Calgary on October 24th. I know there's still some tickets for Edmonton, so get on over to my website, chrisshiflettmusic.com, and get yourself some tickets and come on out to the show because all these shows have been really fun. Detroit was killer at my buddy Mike's bar out there, Smalls and Hamtramck. Kansas City was great. What else? Were there any other ones? I think that was it so far on this swing, but it's been really, really fun, and each night the shows just get looser and better, and then back home I've got a couple more. I'm going to be playing Ojai with Timmy Curran on November 2nd, and Carpinteria on November 3rd, also with Timmy Curran and a bunch of other folks, Johnny Two Bags from Social D, Jamie Wyatt. That one's actually a fundraiser for the Santa Barbara chapter of Surf Riders. So come on out and support a good cause. And ticket links for all those shows are on my website, chrisshiflettmusic.com. Come on, man. All right, let's pay some bills. So again, a big thanks to Fender Play for making this episode of Walking the Floor free. Fender Play is the complete learning platform from the most trusted name in guitar, available on desktop and mobile, so you can learn anytime, anywhere. If you're on the bus and you're like, I gotta jam, I gotta learn some guitar licks, man, you just punch that right up on your phone and boom, there it is. Fender Play. Check it out. They're the masters of all styles. For your free trial of Fender Play, please visit fender.com/walkingthefloor. And don't forget that support for Walking the Floor also comes from D'Addario. D'Addario, a fine maker of USA-made instrument strings and musical accessories, is committed to sustainability through the Playback program, recycling over 1 million used instrument strings. For more information on the Playback program and how to help in its mission of reaching 2.5 million strings in 2018, visit playback.daddario.com. And while we're at it, let us not forget our good friends at Zounds.com. That's right, Zounds.com, where you can buy Fender products and D'Addario. So it all ties in together, and every order you place for $599 and above is, of course, eligible for their exclusive 12-part payment plan with no application process, no interest charged ever, and you just pay that first monthly installment and your gear ships immediately. So get on over to zounds.com, baby. Come on. Let's get to the interview. All right, so all you longtime listeners of Walking the Floor know that this is actually Amanda Shires' second time coming on the show, and I think it was even more fun than the first time because she brought like her bandmates and her best friend was there snapping pictures and whatnot, and we talked a lot about her writing process for her latest record, To the Sunset, which involved moving into her closet in that great quest for songwriter solitude. She also talks about bouncing song ideas. Get this, bouncing song ideas off of John Prine, who, if that isn't amazing enough, he gave her these great pearls of wisdom that have stuck with me since we had this conversation. So good. This is from John Prine to Amanda Shires. Always travel with your own condiments. Be yourself on stage. Be yourself off stage. Be yourself when you write songs. Not easy to do, kids, but very, very wise. And also, make sure you listen all the way through because this interview, I think, has the best gear talk that I have ever done. Because when I started pressing Amanda on like specifics on guitar gear and tone and all that sort of stuff, she FaceTimed her husband, Jason Isbell, who played a lot of the guitar stuff on the record, and he just tells you all the great pedals and amps and stuff. And immediately after listening back to this, I got online and just started ordering shit left and right. So you can too. And now you can sound just like Jason Isbell. No, you can't, but you can try. We can all try. Anyhow, without further ado, this is Amanda Shires on Walking the Floor.
Strange as a snowfall on plains, your eyes glitter like an eagle's cage.
It seems to me like, I mean, you've made a bunch of records over the years and they're always well received and you've done well, but there seems like there's a different kind of buzz on this new one. Do you feel that?
I do feel that. Folks say that the sound is different, and I do think it's different than the last record, My Piece of Land, but I think that earlier records have elements that are in this one. Fucking Seth, you're fired.
For people listening, that's Amanda's guitar player.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I cussed.
Screwed
I
up the
cussed.
whole goddamn interview.
No, but the record is different, but I don't think it's too far different. I think it's really different if you've only come in on My Piece of Land. But,
Right.
the other difference is I have a 3-year-old now, and it's the first record I've ever written as a mother, and there's a lot more, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to do something here.
Were you working on this record in like early January?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was there when you were working on it because I was upstairs one day. Went out there to write with Aaron. You know, Aaron got a room upstairs from the studio there. And I remember one day hearing music happening down there going like, what the fuck is that? What? That doesn't sound like what usually comes out of that studio.
Yeah, right? It doesn't. It didn't. But, I met with Dave Cobb. I called him when I was done with the songs and made him meet me at our favorite place, Chewy's, across the street from his studio. And I was telling him, which I'd never done before, had like any kind of pre-production meeting ever. But I was trying to explain to him what I was hearing for the songs. And what's really great about him is he's a great translator. Like I'm saying, this song the drums need to sound like they're underwater, kind of, And he knows he'll pick some things and is like, is that what we're trying? Is that
Right.
close? And, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, but since we got here already, how do your songs evolve in the studio with Dave? Because I know for me, I've made a couple records with him now,
Yeah.
and like if I played you the demo of what my song sounded like before I went in there, and then the final version, it's like that's night and day, oftentimes.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Well, he doesn't let me make demos because I get married to them.
He's not a demo guy.
No.
Yeah.
He's not. And I think that's great, though, too, because I think there's something that you can capture as far as sentiment and intent in playing it. And the vulnerability of songs that you can get in a live show, but sometimes you get in the studio and you're overthinking and,
The dreaded
Yeah.
overthinking.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I think we all, I mean, I don't know about you, but I came up in a time when like the perfection ideal
Oh yeah.
had entered
You're a rock
into
star.
record making, what I
Yeah.
mean, where everything has to be, the exactly the most perfect thing ever, and everything's got to be gridded, and you never stop thinking about, like, wait, could I do that better?
Yeah.
Could I do that
Is it
better?
clean enough?
Yeah.
He's great. So the songs in the studio, we get together in like a circle, everybody with their instruments, and then I play the song, and I do a really poor job of it because I'm scared, because these are all the people that I trust more than anything.
Totally, it's
you know?
so like
Yeah.
panic inducing.
It is. It is.
You're like, I know I'm not doing the best job of presenting this at all.
Yeah. Trust me, the chord will be like this, but you'll hear it. Then and it's really terrible, because these are all your friends and all the people that you like respect in the same room, and then you do it and it's fine, and then you don't cry, you do a good job somehow, and then you talk about it, and then you start saying what you're hearing, and then bouncing ideas off and trying to make it close to what we said in a pre-production meeting, I guess.
Yeah.
So
That's
when you do that trial and error stuff, like
Yeah.
this might be the instrument for this, and then you take it off later because it sounds like a ding dong did it.
It makes me really happy to hear that other people go through that same
It's
anxiety
awful.
with that process.
And it's like the first time you've ever sang something that, like, you're like, I'm not trying to get precious about it, but like, say you're making up some love song or some sad song or some song about somebody dead, and something you truly care about enough to write a song about it, and then you're gonna play it for the first time for people, and that is the start. That's the birth of the songs, like, not birth, but like, how like you get your baby home and then you don't let anybody see it for like 6 weeks because you're taking care of it. Well, finally the baby's being held by other people and judged on its proportions.
I read that you wrote a lot of these songs like in your closet
All
at
of them.
home.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about like how is it hard to find the solitude now with where you're at in life and your career to have that quiet time to write the tunes?
Yeah. So used to, I wrote in my office and just would write, at whatever hours felt right, like a hippie or whatever. And now, with Mercy around, it's super awesome. But anytime I try to sit down and play an instrument, suddenly it's a family jam and she's playing the tuba,
Yeah.
Well, she plays the trumpet, like it's on the floor, and then she blows into it, and it's really awesome. It sounds like an elephant. But that happens, and then comes out the crayons, and then, everything else that happens. And it didn't, I wasn't getting anything done. And then I told Jason I was going to have to move into the closet, and he said, cool. Can I get your stuff in there for you? Help in any way? And I was like, yeah, I need, whatever. So then there's no space in there. So then I start taping everything up. Well, first I start taking the journals apart and just taking the lines that are good, putting them on index cards, taping them up. My friend Kelly helped me with that, shredding all the shitty words. And then the space, like our closet's not like California size. It's like this room that we're in was like a California closet. Our closet's like the size of this couch, which
Nice.
is, how long is this couch?
I'm going with like maybe 6 feet.
Okay. So
Maybe.
that's it, throw in a bunch of shoes and some dirty laundry, and that's what we're working with.
Nice.
So you start taping stuff up, and then you tape stuff up into the bedroom, and then part of that is for the ease of getting to the songs and the ideas, and the other part is you start drawing lines, connections, and then anyway, it was isolating. It was 10 or 12 hours a day because I'm a slow writer, and I think in all that solitude, the ideas were all kind of happening. And then with all of that too, having all the work on the wall while also living with Jason Isbell, who I think is the best songwriter next to Billy Joe Shaver, it sort of, I guess I learned a little bit more about about accepting my process versus his, and like I gained a little bit more confidence, and with that confidence then I started, you know, like I wrote Eve's Daughter. That was later into the process of writing this record, and all I told him was don't comment on anything that I'm putting up here. I'll ask for comments after I'm ready.
Right.
You know, and
How ready do you get your songs before you go into the studio?
all the way done.
Okay. It's all fleshed out.
All the way done. Yeah.
Right. I mean, not only...
Except for you know, you get the rogue ones that come while you're in the studio.
Right.
The parking lot pirouette happened that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was driving home that night and I got the melody, and on the way in I wrote the words, or half the words, and I told Dave I had to go upstairs and finish writing it, and I did, and then we recorded it.
And that's, am I remembering this right, that that's the album opener? Mm-hmm. Not only, you know, obviously you just talked about Jason being your husband, and he's a fantastic songwriter, of course, but I also read that you bounced a bunch of these ideas off John Prine.
I did.
Talk about pressure. That had to have been...
Oh, no.
Was that uncomfortable? Was that...
No. It was awesome. I was working on my thesis for because it was coming up to be defending thesis time, and like 2 days later. And we were on an airplane, and John had been writing Tree of Forgiveness, working on that, and he's like... And I carry a bag of books around, and he's like, do you have a rhyming dictionary in there? And I was like, no, I just have that on my phone. And then we started talking about rhyming, and also rhyming dictionaries on your phone and apps, and then got deep into rhyming, and then he was pulling out his songs. He was like, I'm looking for rhymes for this and that, and then I have a question like, is this too much on this other thing? I was like, this is amazing.
Wait, this sounds more like he was asking you.
He was.
For your input, not the other way around.
Yeah. Well, then I started asking him to look over some of mine, and, you know, it's a good way to
Did you get any little pearls of wisdom out of him?
Yes. Here they are. I've memorized them, and they go like this. Always travel with your own condiments. Be yourself on stage. Be yourself off stage. Be yourself when you write songs.
Ah, that is incredibly wise. That's good. And also really hard. It's hard to be yourself on stage.
It is. I mean, not
It's hard
for
enough
me.
to be yourself off stage,
Man,
oftentimes.
I just decided like last month just to be myself all the time. I mean, I'm the same on stage. I'm like this all the time, and I try to cover this up on stage. Like try to act super serious and like not dancey. You know, like it's like I'm a professional, and then
Oh, dear
it
God.
just gets so
Don't be a
hard to be-
professional,
yeah.
for Christ's sake.
It's so hard to be so serious all the time.
Well, it's just, you know, this is a genre that is very serious.
I know. I know. So serious.
Believe you me, I talk to lots of up-and-coming Americana people in here, and I'm oftentimes kind of struck by, come on, man, lighten up.
Yeah, really?
Isn't the point of playing music to have a good time?
Yeah.
A little bit?
That banjo's too loud, man. Get rid of it.
So I'm many years your senior, and I'm a
How
product
many?
of... I am.
How many?
I was born in 1971, so...
What's that?
Listen, young lady, I command respect. No,
You're only 10 years older than me.
Well, 10 years. What my point was that I am a product of the 80s, you know, a little bit of the 70s, but the 80s. And I have to ask, I thought I heard some gothy undertones in this new record, maybe like a little. I don't know what your chief reference points were when you were making this, but I heard like little traces of maybe a little Lords of the New Church, a little Sisters of Mercy, maybe
I'll take that.
little Gene Loves Jezebel. Perhaps.
I've never heard any of that, but I say yes.
I'm gonna have to make you a playlist.
I wish you would.
Yeah.
I wish you would.
Really? So none of
Yeah.
that. Okay. So what were you sort of stylistically, you know, drawing from or listening to, or what was the inspiration behind it? You think?
I listen to rap.
Okay.
That's what I listen to.
Current rap, old rap.
All of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and R&B.
And how do you think that affected this record?
They got hooks.
Oh.
The rhythmic words, you know?
Right.
I don't know if that affected it, the record. I
I've
don't
been
even know
watching
if
a
rap
great-
was any of our reference points, because I was playing some Cardi B in the studio, and Dave was like, what is that?
That could have been what I heard.
No,
from
no, it
upstairs.
wasn't
I
that.
don't
It
know, because
was-
I remember hearing something. And I was like, "What the?
No, it
fuck?
wasn't.
What is
Cardi
going
B.
on down there?"
I remembered it was Gucci Gang because he was like, I don't understand this Gucci Gang.
Oh, the Gucci Gang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have teenagers, so
Yeah.
my life is filled with Gucci Gang.
I just
I
like-
assure you.
Well, everyday life, I go through where spells, I don't know if you do this, where I have a favorite few songs and I play them relentlessly
Yes.
and I kill
Burn them
everybody
out.
with
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like, right now it's that Amy Shark Adore song. So good. Like the drum sound on it, so good. And also Sgt. Pepper that played the shit out of
Sergeant
that.
Pepper, is that a rap album? I'm not real familiar with
Sgt.
that.
Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And what else have I killed you with, Seth?
Layla.
Oh, I've been killing the shit out of it because
Layla.
Dwayne's part is so awesome.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I just recently watched that Eric Clapton documentary on it's on Showtime or something.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly like, I've never really been an Eric Clapton fan. I've just not like I don't like him, but I've
Yeah.
just never gotten into his work. But I didn't like. I've been listening to a bunch of his sort of like early '70s stuff. Like it's given me a whole new appreciation of him. I always
Yeah.
thought of him as just like that
Yeah, I know.
corny, barroom blues thing. I mean, obviously I love Cream and that sort
Yeah,
of thing, but I
yeah.
never really got into. But
Do you like
Eric
Derek and the
Clapton's-
Dominoes?
I mean, I like that record, sure,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's just was never. I just like I really know. I know Layla.
Derek and the.
I'm
Why
trying
do
to
they
dig a little
call the
deeper.
record Derek and the Dominoes?
I heard it was
Zach.
from. He just wanted to step away from himself, and they had been working on All Things Must Pass. George couldn't finish it, so Clapton took his band over there, and it was kind of like the Sgt. Pepper's thing.
Okay.
Let me
So
just not be
Clapton not only
myself.
stole
Yeah.
his band, but his wife
No,
and
no,
his band.
He
Was that?
lended his band to George, took the lady.
Oh, okay. I got that in reverse. Okay.
And that's why a lot of people don't like Eric Clapton.
Oh, well, I was like blown away by all that like footage of him like drunk and surly on stage.
Yeah.
Like I never saw that version of Eric Clapton. Wow.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
With minus the racial slurs and
Yeah,
all that.
right,
So
right.
They got
Yeah,
ugly in there for
yeah.
sure. Which I guess is a good, transition to. Have these troubled last couple of years filtered down into your songs?
Most
I
definitely.
didn't examine the lyrical content.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I feel like all my interviews lately, we go on these political rants. So
Right.
let's avoid that a little
I
bit.
won't do that.
'Cause I
I'll
get all
just say-
frothy at the mouth, but I
Right.
just wouldn't know if that was like a factor.
I'll say there's no preaching, and what I wanted to do with the record in not preaching is to do something that would maybe, without being super serious, be like some kind of like there's a song "Take on the Dark." Like you can, that's definitely a product of dark times and things. And Eve's Daughter, that's like make way, women are cool, but I feel like it's my responsibility to try and do at least a little bit for my own daughter because, even with that Haim stuff going down, the not equal pay and just, it's just, I just feel like it's really cool that there's a lot of people speaking right now, not just musicians, but writers. And yeah, that's one benefit that we have to this shit-ass presidency.
Yeah. Commentary.
End of rant.
Yeah.
I kept it low.
That was a good rant.
Okay.
I liked it. We didn't get all worked up.
Yeah,
It's
we
nice.
didn't.
I talked to BJ. I interviewed BJ Barham yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And I don't know if you've heard that New American Aquarium album, but it's very topical. We had a good riff.
Yeah.
But I felt like afterwards I was like, God, I really just like talked at him for a while. So I'm trying not to do that today.
Well, you might have gave him something to.
Oh no, he's hip. He's
Yeah,
totally hip.
okay.
I mean, I know you know him, but
Yeah.
he's totally right on. But I just get carried away.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you referenced it earlier, but I'm curious about you getting your MFA.
I did that. I finished that April 20th.
How the hell do you have the time to do that?
Well, because this is what happened. Because in this business of making music, a lot of the time it's like people are rushing you around, and then suddenly you're doing nothing for 3 hours,
Right?
And or you're waiting for an airplane, and then it never comes, and it eventually will.
See, that's the hard part because I have tried to do over the years. I've done a bunch of like online classes and
Yeah.
things like that. But I find when I'm in those quiet moments,
Mm-hmm.
the last thing I want to do on tour is like work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's like when I want to turn my brain off and read a book or...
I feel like I was operating on instinct only when I was writing songs. And I was first a side person, so I came into the love of writing and songwriters and good songs, and I just love songs. And I love words, and I love books. And so I didn't want to operate on just instinct, and I wanted to get better at words and stringing them together, and even writing, because my undergraduate degree is not in writing. But I went to Sewanee, the University of the South, and started working on my master's in creative writing. And with that comes a lot of studying literature. I mean, we did all of that. Everything.
Did you do it in chunks though? Like, how did you do that and maintain a touring schedule?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So I went to classes every day from 9 or 10 to 5, in the summers, like for 4 months or 3 months or something, and then the rest of the year is just like.
Oh, so
work.
this is something you've been doing for a while.
Yeah. And
I think it's so great to hear because I was sort of a late bloomer as a songwriter, and then for years just kind of labored at it, just blindly. I felt like, and I remember at one point, maybe 10 years ago or something, I took a songwriting workshop here in LA with Peter Case over at McCabe's.
Oh, cool!
Just because I thought, I'm a fan of that guy.
Have you ever read that book, Writing Better Lyrics by Pat Pattison?
No, but I will
really
definitely
good.
get that now.
Yeah,
but I realized after the fact that he was pulling a lot from creative writing.
Right.
And so I started reading some creative writing books and took a bunch of creative writing workshops. And like, I'm curious, like it's interesting because it kind of fucked me up for a while with songwriting.
It will.
Because it really made me rethink everything. And I mean, everything was like, wait a minute, I'm doing that wrong. And there was like a few years there where it was, it had like the opposite effect of what I wanted to. And then it all of a sudden just went boom.
Exactly. It's like you learn it, and then like kind of like improvisation. You learn all the things, right? And you're like, I'm doing these things. And then eventually you do that enough, and then you don't think about those things. You just play, just like with writing, you know. But it's good to go and write poems and be criticized by others and not be allowed to talk. It teaches you a lot about how people interpret what you write, and I learned a lot really quickly, I think, and about like words, like connotation of words, and whatever they bring with them out, the shades of the word, why you should choose one word over another, and if you don't want to, if you've got reasons, then you can do that, but have reasons,
Yeah. It's funny how when you're in a room full of people critiquing something you wrote,
God, I know.
they all, I mean, it's painful in some ways,
awful.
but it's also super rewarding.
It is.
But one of the things I was fascinated by was everyone would get hung up on the same things. So clearly those were trouble spots.
Right.
Whether you wanted to hear it or not,
yeah.
everybody would sort of be like, that part sucks.
Yeah, and you'd be like, no, that's not.
You guys are wrong. And then you're like,
this thing was
fuck,
about
right.
parachutes. It has nothing to do with flowers. And then you learn. I don't know. You just learn. It's really good. And then you have books. You have access to people that can help you in a direction if you want to learn more. They'll like steer you to books that you need to read, and this will teach you that. And then so you have another community of people that can help you.
Totally. Okay, so I read on this record you used a lot of like pedals on your fiddle that you had never done before, and people love gear talk.
They do.
So let's nerd out on some gear talk right now.
So
what are your go-to pedals now that you're a pedal whiz? And is there like one that's like your magic one?
The Mellotron pedal.
The Mellotron. I've never even seen a
white
Mellotron pedal. What does that do? Make your fiddle sound like a Mellotron?
Sort of, but it's a fiddle, so
Right.
it's got that going for it. It sounds interesting. You can make it like it has settings like make a Mellotron flute, Mellotron saxophone, Mellotron cello, Mellotron, all the things, like 9 of them, and I have a for my amp, my Princeton doesn't have a reverb, so I have a reverb, and I got a drive, and
What drive you use?
I think is it the Boss one that I'm using?
I think it's like the Echoplex.
Echoplex, yeah.
Front end of an Echoplex.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the little EP boost.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, and then
not the EP.
It's
Yeah.
not that, but it's the same idea.
Okay.
And then I got
Right.
little standard delay pedal, and then I have a whole bunch more pedals. I just haven't. Like, I have a wave cannon doesn't sound exactly right, but it's awesome.
Wave cannon?
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Look for that in like
Yeah.
month 9 of your touring
Yeah,
cycle.
yeah.
Fuck it. Woo, wave cannon.
I just started getting a lot of pedals, and well, you'll see someday what's going to happen.
Are you a gear hound otherwise? Are you into like
I just
all the,
became
It's
that.
hard to be around Dave Cobb and not become a gear hound, because that guy is like
Yeah.
ultimate gear hound.
He's the best. No, I just started getting into gear. Well, this is how I pick out an amplifier, for instance. I called Jason and I say, don't laugh at me. I just went to the guitar store and I made them take all the price tags off all the amps, and I made them put them all in the room, and I picked this amp. So don't laugh, it sounds good. It was
boy.
$1,000. And it was a Princeton, 1964 Princeton.
Oh, there you go. No, that's
yeah,
a good choice. That's
it
a
was-
great choice.
Yeah,
There's nothing
well,
to
but I
nobody
didn't know
would take
that.
issue
so
with that.
This is just my I'm just now getting my head around stuff, and it, yeah.
Well, that.
But then I got good at it, and then I started buying him amps.
Ah.
Yeah, I did. Vibroverb.
If my wife is listening out there, I'm just gonna point out, honey, you've never bought me an amp.
And
I love you, but
I buy him guitars. That's fun. But I feel like I know more about instruments than I do gear. But I do pay attention. So, you know.
well, there is
I bought him a
an
Tone
amp.
King. I bought him a Vibroverb.
Oh,
I
nice.
bought him a Klon Centaur because that shit rules.
Klon Centaur. Yeah, I have the knockoff.
You do? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I think there's a lot of knockoffs, but
There
I have a knockoff.
That's
I don't have
great.
the real one.
That's okay.
Yeah, it works. It's good.
I would like a knockoff.
Well, by all means, get one for your fiddle. Jesus, come on. What are we doing here? Put it on your pedal board. Come on, guys. Speaking of all that, there is a guitar tone thing I wanted to ask you about in that song, Eve's Daughter, the lead on there. Who's doing that?
Jason.
That's Jason. Okay. Do you remember what it is? What the setup was? Because it sounds like some kind of crazy, like, solid state, all blown out or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Let's find out. We'll FaceTime.
Are we finding out right now?
Hey,
Hello.
I love you. I'm sorry to bother you. I just have one question.
It's no bother. What do you do? What
I'm
do
talking.
We're gear talking.
We're gear
you do on
talking.
the radio?
Well, just a podcast, not yet.
What do you
Was
mean
it
just a
Chris?
podcast?
Well, because he didn't want his face in it. Because he didn't want his face if it was a radio. Because they do.
No, it's not the radio because there's a woman on it. Hey, Chris.
Ah!
Oh!
But see, I didn't mean.
Now
just
we're getting
a
back into
podcast.
politics. Damn, I thought we got out of that.
Do you, so that means you're naked.
No, I'm just,
Okay.
it's just Mark. I'm about to get on the elliptical.
Okay, cool. What was your setup for your guitar on Eve's Daughter?
On that lead track, what was that crazy lead track? It sounds like blown out, nasty, solid state or something.
Oh,
Was that the Tweed?
that's a 65 Telly,
Oh.
straight into a Tweed Vibrolux. Turn all the way
Boom.
up.
Is that Cobb's Tweed Vibrolux?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
Cobb's
I know that amp. I know
Yeah,
that
that's
amp.
a good amp. I think it came from. Yeah, I know. As a matter of fact, it came from Emilu's ex-husband, who gave you the auto harp,
Oh yeah, Paul Kennerly.
Paul Kennerly. It
Paul
was-
Kennerly gave me an autograph.
Yeah, which probably means it came from Mark Knopfler or some crazy shit.
It's awesome.
Seriously, this right now, this is the best gear talk we've ever had on the podcast. Right now, best gear talk ever.
No pedals involved.
Nice.
Thank you for answering.
You're welcome. I hope you're having a good time.
Let's talk about the space guitar though. 1 second. Let's talk about that.
Bass guitar.
Yeah, the white Strat.
Oh yeah, that's the Ed O'Brien
Yeah.
signature Strat, and
Ooh.
yeah, it's got a sustainer in the neck position that's similar to the old Fernandez. I think Fender may have bought the Fernandez technology for the sustainer, and so I had Fender send me one with an American neck on it.
And that we used on Parking Lot for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff that sounds like an EBO.
And then that was that Beatley pedal.
Beatley pedal.
The white pedal?
The Yoko one.
White pedal.
Jex Telez?
Jex Tillet.
Yeah, but I don't think I used that. I think I used my. I have the first Sun Lion.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The Analog Man. That was my fuzz. That's my go-to fuzz. But it's the first one he made.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used the Klon Centaur, and then a Beatley pedal.
I just remember the white pedal that. Say it. What it is?
Jex Telez?
Yeah, but that's a big old fuzz box.
Is it? I thought there was a white pedal that wasn't the Mellotron, but whatever.
There was a Mellotron, but there was also that. Shoot! It's the one that's like it's got all the crazy synth programs in it. It's got a wheel on top. It's like programmable, and it's got all your reverb patches and synth patches and all.
Oh, is that the Eventide?
The Eventide.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay,
Okay.
just brought it home.
That's a crazy thing, man. Yeah, that pedal's like riding a fucking unicycle with a boat engine on it.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to it.
All right, buddy. Have a good podcast.
Will do. Don't worry, you're not on TV.
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay.
I know how podcasts work.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Good to talk to you guys. See ya.
Take care.
Totally didn't mean just a podcast. Sometimes he picks up the phone and it's dark and he's naked.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. Seriously, that was like the keys to the tone kingdom right there. That was amazing. Thank you. Okay. One last thing before before you guys play a tune here. I'm curious if when you were coming up, did you take a lot of lessons? Singing lessons, playing, fiddle lessons, guitar lessons, any lessons?
I didn't take singing lessons until I moved to Nashville because I was trying to fix the goat noise in my voice. And
was there a goat noise in there?
There still is. Apparently can't be removed. But I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not supposed to say that my voice sounds like a goat. My husband hates it when I say that. It sounds like beautiful. It sounds great.
There you go.
Yeah, whatever.
Greatest voice ever.
Yeah. But playing the fiddle, violin, whatever, I did violin in school, and then I learned fiddle from a guy named Lanny Field I started learning from, who was learning from the Texas Playboys. And then I met the Texas Playboys, and then I started going over to...
became a Texas Playboy?
Yeah, I would drive... my mom would drive me to Turkey, Texas, and I would go sit on Frankie McWhorter's porch, and he just, he couldn't read music, and I just learned everything by ear from him.
Ah.
Yeah.
And
then also Tommy Alsop did me like that too. Do you know him?
I mean, not personally. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was the guy that ran the Texas Playboys and Liberty Records, but he played with Buddy Holly and did the coin flip with Richie Valens. But he was a killer.
Is he still alive?
No, he died last year.
Okay.
Or this past year. It was a year ago, maybe. It was a year ago. Yeah. But he could play every chord and every passing chord and everything. And so he would play
like
things
crazy
and I'd
jazz
try to,
chops.
Yeah, and also rock and roll though, like
right.
rock and roll, Chuck Berry crap and not crap, great stuff. But it was just he listened to a lot of like Speedy West and
Speedy West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he would play things and I'd try to play them back.
Well, let's hear your Speedy West chops on a tune.
Oh God, no. Okay.
If you want to intro it, like I wrote this song about my cousin Leroy, whatever.
I wrote this song about your cousin Leroy. The world got you down, break out, keep playing. World got you down, break out the champagne. Between bathroom stalls, Kelly said the world would end tonight, that we'd be ashes in apocalyptic light. I said break out the champagne. show. On with the show. Somewhere above the Newfoundland Sea, the pilot said we lost an engine. In a split second, I made executive decision. We're gonna break out the champagne. Everybody look out below. Let's get on with the shit show. Here goes the toast. This morning love told her he was leaving. He said they'd be better as friends. No one's fault. The heart once fed it once. And then she thought, I'm rock and roll and you're golf. Break out the champagne. I've been thinking the same thing myself. Champagne, if it's really how it's gotta go. Let's get on with the shit show. On with the show. We just made that part up.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
thank you. If you want to come play in our band tonight, come.
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
It'll be so much fun.
Yeah. That
Okay.
sounds great.
I'll put you on plus 20 so we can fill the place up.
I better start making some fun.
Your eyes glitter like an eagle's cage. Glitter.
All right, that was Amanda Shires on Walking the Floor. Make sure you get on over to walkingthefloor.com because I'm going to put a bunch of links up so you can check her out, find out when she's coming to a town near you, and buy some tickets. Woo! You know, I got to tell you, I did go play with her later that night at the El Rey, sat in with her band, jumped up on one of their guitars and one of their amps, and we played this song that was just like a jam, and the amp was set. I just kind of got up and we just started going, and the amp was set to like the lowest gain output humanly possible, and at some point they threw to me to like do some long noodly solo, and it was really it was challenging because it's like, how often do you play a guitar solo with no gain? Not often for me. And after we got through that, her guitar player kind of just quickly came over and adjusted the amp and adjusted the pedals, and all of a sudden there was like the tone was there. I was like, oh, thanks, brother. It made the next one we did a lot easier. Anywho, I'm just rambling. Thanks again to Fender Play for all their support, keeping this podcast free. If any listeners out there are interested in learning how to play the guitar without the usual hurdles, check out a free trial of Fender Play by visiting fender.com/walkingthefloor. Check it out. Come on. Get your chops on. That's it for this week. I'll be back in a couple weeks. Adios, amigos!